1. We're checking out this absolutely fascinating 1981 Chevy El Camino that's currently listed for $21,500. Let me tell you, this isn't your average El Camino. It's got some serious modern upgrades that make it really special. The heart of this beauty is a 5.3 LLS engine paired with a 4L60E overdrive transmission, which is a fantastic combination that brings modern reliability to this classic car-truck hybrid. What's really impressive is that it can achieve 20+ mpg on the highway, which is pretty remarkable for a vehicle of this vintage. The seller has clearly invested in comfort too. They've installed a Gen 5 vintage air AC system that apparently blows ice-cold perfect for those hot summer cruises. The interior's been upgraded with bucket seats, and there's a nice set of Stewart Warner gauges to keep track of everything. Based on the seller's description, this El Camino appears to be in well-maintained condition and drives like a new car. The clean title is always good to see, and the automatic transmission makes it an easy daily driver if that's what you're after. For $21,500, you're getting a classic El Camino with modern amenities and reliability. The LS swap alone is a valuable upgrade, and when you factor in the working AC, comfortable interior, and solid fuel economy, it starts to make sense why they're asking this price. Just being straight with you all, this seems like a well-thought-out build that combines classic style with modern drivability. Whether it's worth the asking price will depend on the buyer, but it's definitely an interesting piece of American automotive history that's been thoughtfully updated for today's roads. 2. Let's talk about this 1977 Chevy K10 Blazer that's up for grabs at $20,000. I've got to be honest, there's not a whole lot of information provided in this listing, which makes it a bit tricky to give you a complete picture. What we do know is that this classic SUV has hit the 100,000 mile mark on the odometer, comes with a clean title, and features an automatic transmission. These K10 Blazers are becoming increasingly desirable among collectors and off-road enthusiasts, known for their rugged capability and classic good looks from the golden era of American SUVs. The asking price of $20,000 is in the ballpark for a well-maintained K10 Blazer from this era. But here's where I need to be straight with you. Without more details about the condition, maintenance history, or any modifications, it's hard to say if this is a fair price. These vehicles often suffer from rust issues, so that's something you definitely want to check out in person. If you're interested, you'll absolutely want to see this Blazer in person, ask about its maintenance history, and inspect thoroughly for rust or mechanical issues. These K10s are fantastic vehicles when properly maintained, but they can also be money pits if they've been neglected. A test drive would be essential here. Check the transmission shifts, listen for any unusual noises, and make sure all the 4x4 components are working properly. 3. We're checking out this absolutely gorgeous 1978 Ford F-150 that's popped up on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this is one special truck. At $20,000, we're looking at a beautifully preserved piece of American automotive history with just 91,000 original miles on the clock, which is remarkably low for a truck of this vintage. This long bed beauty is powered by a classic Ford V8, paired with an automatic transmission sending power to the rear wheels, a proper old-school setup that these trucks are known for. What really catches my eye is that this was someone's pride and joy. It was the seller's late husband's cherished possession, and you can tell it was well cared for. The truck comes with working cold AC, which is a huge plus for a vehicle of this age. It's sporting a custom paint job, and based on the seller's description of excellent condition, it appears to be a really clean example. The clean title is another big positive here. For $20K, you're getting a well-preserved classic F-150 that's becoming increasingly collectible. These late 70s F-Series trucks have a fantastic reputation for durability, and this one seems to have been treated with lots of love and care. While the price might seem steep to some, clean examples like this are getting harder to find, especially with such low mileage. 4. We're looking at something pretty special. A 1984 Dodge Ram Charger Prospector EDT that's caught my eye at $6,000. Let me tell you, this isn't your average SUV. This is the Blue Beast, and it's got a story to tell. What makes this Ram Charger particularly interesting is its factory-installed Meyer snowplow. That's right, straight from the factory. With just 91,475 miles on the clock, this single-owner vehicle is honestly a rare find. We're talking about a V8-powered 4WD beast with a 3-speed automatic transmission that's ready for both work and play. The Prospector EDT package was a premium trim level back in the day, and at $6,000, you're getting a lot of classic SUV for your money. The clean title and available Carfax report add extra peace of mind. What's really cool is that this is a first-owner vehicle, which usually means better maintenance history and care. Now, while the seller lists it in good condition, not excellent, that's pretty impressive for a nearly 40-year-old working vehicle. These Ram Chargers were built tough, and this one seems to have been maintained well enough to still be ready for action. For anyone looking for a classic 4x4 with some unique features, this Ram Charger offers something special. That factory plow setup alone makes it a conversation piece, and with the V8 power under the hood, you're getting a capable machine that can still handle business while turning heads at car meets. 5. We're looking at something really special. A 1961 Dodge D200 pickup that's popped up for $10,000. Now, I need to point out that there seems to be a discrepancy in the listing. The title says 1961, but the description mentions 1968. Either way, let's talk about what we've got here. This is a genuine survivor truck with what the seller claims is original white paint, and apparently it's remarkably straight and rust-free, which is incredibly rare for a truck of this vintage. With just 39,564 miles showing on the odometer, this V8-powered workhorse appears to be a real time capsule. Now, let's be completely honest here. This truck isn't a turnkey vehicle. The seller clearly states it hasn't run in 2 years and needs some attention. You'll need to change all the fluids, install a new battery, and connect some safety ignition wires. Plus, you'll need a trailer to get it home. These aren't necessarily deal breakers, but they're important considerations for any potential buyer. What's particularly noteworthy is the dash pad being in great condition. If you know these old Dodges, you'll understand how rare that is. These trucks usually have severely cracked or completely destroyed dash pads due to sun damage. At $10,000, you're looking at a solid price for what appears to be a very original, unmolested example of these classic Dodge trucks. The clean title and RWD setup with an automatic transmission make it a potentially great project that won't require too much heavy lifting to get back on the road. 6. We're checking out a sweet 1968 Chevy C10 that's listed for $26,500. And let me tell you, this is one interesting pickup. What we've got here is a classic C10 with some serious muscle under the hood. A 400 small block V8 paired with the legendary TH400 automatic transmission, which is a rock-solid combination known for reliability and power. The truck shows 26,500 miles on the odometer, though with these classics, it's always worth noting that could be 126,500. It's wearing a black paint job, and what's really interesting here is that it's listed as a 4WD, which is unusual for a C10 of this era, as they typically came as RWD. This might be a custom conversion, which could add value if done properly. The seller's keeping it pretty brief in the description, but they mention it runs great and has been upgraded with digital gauges, which is a nice modern touch that helps you keep better tabs on the engine's vitals. The clean title is always a plus on a classic like this. At $26,500, we're definitely in the upper range for C10s, but these trucks have seen their values climbing steadily over the past few years. The 400 SB engine swap and 4WD setup, if properly done, could justify the premium price tag for the right buyer. For anyone interested in this truck, I'd recommend getting a good look at the 4WD system and documentation of any modifications, while the seller lists it in good condition. With any classic truck like this, you'll want to inspect the usual trouble spots: frame rails, cab corners, and floor pans. 7. We're looking at something really special. A 1964 Chevrolet El Camino, listed at $17,500. And let me tell you, this is one well-documented example of Chevy's iconic Ute. This isn't just any El Camino. It's from the first year of the Chevelle-based design, making it particularly desirable for collectors. What we've got here is a numbers-matching beauty with its original 283 V8 with the Power Pack option, pushing out 220 horses through a 2-speed Power Glide automatic. The desert beige paint isn't original, but it's the original color, which is a big plus for authenticity. With 53,000 miles on the clock and a clean title, this El Camino represents a solid piece of automotive history. Now, here's what really catches my attention: the extensive list of recent work done. The seller has basically rebuilt this car from the ground up with new wiring harnesses, suspension components, steering, brakes, fuel system. The list goes on. This kind of comprehensive maintenance is exactly what you want to see in a classic vehicle. The factory AC is currently non-functional, compressor removed, but all the new AC wiring is there. The original radio still works, which is pretty impressive for a 59-year-old vehicle. It's running on steel wheels with original hubcaps, maintaining that classic look. At $17,500, considering the amount of recent work done and the desirability of the '64 model year, this seems like a fair ask. You're getting a solid, well-maintained example of a first-year Chevelle-based El Camino with its original drivetrain and some really thoughtful updates. 8. We're looking at a pretty interesting 1972 Ford F-250 that's up for grabs at $10,500. This is a significant truck as it represents the last year of this particular body style. And there's something special about these final year models. Let's be completely honest here. The seller lists the condition as fair, which is refreshingly truthful for a 51-year-old truck. It's powered by the robust 360 V8 engine, and what's really cool is it's got the granny 3-speed manual transmission on the floor, a setup that's becoming increasingly rare to find these days. The odometer shows 21,317 miles, though on a truck this age, it's likely rolled over at least once. The truck wears an orange paint job, and while the seller's description is pretty brief, they note it's in good condition for the age, which, combined with the fair condition rating, suggests this is an honest, driver-quality classic truck rather than a fully restored showpiece. At $10,500, you're looking at an increasingly collectible piece of Ford truck history. These 72S are special not just because they're the last of their generation, but because they represent a sweet spot of classic styling with relatively modern drivability. The RWD setup with that manual transmission makes for a pure, engaging driving experience that's getting harder to find. For anyone interested in this F-250, I'd recommend a thorough inspection of the usual rust spots and mechanical components given the fair condition rating. But with a clean title and that classic powertrain combination, this could be a solid entry point into classic truck ownership or a great project basis. 9. We're checking out a 1971 Chevy C10 that's listed for $10,000 or best offer. And let me be straight with you about this one. The sellers listed it in fair condition, but there are some interesting details here worth discussing. Under the hood, you've got the classic 350 V8 with a 2-barrel Rochester carburetor. Not the most powerful setup, but it's reliable and easy to work on. What's interesting is that it's got a GMC long bed paired with the Chevy cab, and it's running a 700 R4 automatic transmission that's reportedly in excellent condition. That's actually a nice upgrade from the original transmission these trucks came with. The odometer shows 26,421 miles, but as with most classics of this age, that's likely 126,421 or more. The seller notes it runs well and has minimal rust, which is always something to verify in person on these old trucks. They've also mentioned it has a newer battery and excellent tires, which are always good basic maintenance points. At $10,000 with the or best offer option, there's probably some room for negotiation here. The fair condition rating suggests this isn't a show truck, but rather a solid driver that might need some TLC. These C10S are incredibly popular for restoration projects, and finding one with minimal rust is always a good starting point. 10. We're looking at something really special. A 1951 Chevy 3100 pickup listed at $15,500, and let me tell you, there's a lot to unpack here. The seller's being refreshingly honest by listing it in fair condition, but don't let that scare you away just yet. This classic workhorse is powered by the legendary 216 straight-six engine, which has been recently rebuilt. That's a huge plus. It's paired with a 4-speed manual transmission with a floor shifter, giving you that authentic vintage truck driving experience. The odometer's broken and mileage is unknown, but with a rebuilt engine, that's less of a concern. The sellers put some serious work into making this truck roadworthy. We're talking new exhaust, fresh brakes, new shocks, and even new door latches and strikers. All the kind of practical upgrades you want to see. They've also installed new wood in the pickup bed, which is a nice touch that can be pretty expensive if you need to do it yourself. Finished in black, these early 50s Chevys have some of the most beautiful styling of any vintage truck. The 3100 series trucks are becoming increasingly collectible, and while this one's listed in fair condition, the mechanical refreshing that's been done makes it an interesting prospect. At $15,500, you're getting a classic truck with a rebuilt engine and several key mechanical updates. Sure, it might need some cosmetic love given the fair condition rating, but these advanced design Chevys are known for their sturdy construction and relatively simple mechanics. 11. Let me tell you about this 1965 Chevrolet C10 that's popped up for $30,000. And I've got to be honest, we need to talk about a few things here. First, that 924-mile odometer reading on a 58-year-old truck. Let's be realistic. That's either 105,924, 205,924, or the odometer's been reset during a restoration. The truck's sporting a red exterior with a tan interior, which is a classic color combination that always looks great on these C10s. It's running an automatic transmission, which is nice for everyday drivability, though the seller doesn't specify which engine it's packing. That's something you'd definitely want to know at this price point. Speaking of price, $30,000 is sitting at the higher end of the market for these trucks. While C10s from this era have definitely appreciated in value, you're in restored condition territory at this price point, so you'll want to make sure everything checks out. The seller's description is pretty light on details about the truck's actual condition, modifications, or history. For this kind of investment, you'd want to know about any restoration work, whether it's numbers matching, and get documentation of any major work done. For anyone interested in this C10, I'd strongly recommend a thorough inspection and asking for detailed documentation about its history and any restoration work. While these are fantastic trucks with great potential for both collecting and driving, at $30,000 you need to know exactly what you're getting. 12. We're looking at a really interesting workhorse, a 1969 Ford F350 dump truck that's listed for $5,500. And let me tell you, this is one unique piece of equipment. The seller's being upfront about the condition, listing it as fair, and mentions the body is a little rough. So let's dive into what makes this truck special despite its cosmetic challenges. What really catches my attention is what's under the hood, a 410 Mercury Marauder FE engine, which is a serious piece of Ford muscle car history repurposed for work duty. It's paired with a 4-speed manual transmission and a Dana 70 rear axle with 4.56 gears, making this a properly set up work truck. The odometer's rolled over, so those 100,000 miles are likely 200,000 or more, but the seller mentions the engine has low miles. The real utility here is in the 3-yard hydraulic PTO dump bed, which the seller says dumps good. That's crucial for anyone looking to put this truck to work. These old Ford dump trucks were built to last, and finding one with a working hydraulic system is actually pretty valuable. At $5,500, you're looking at a fair price for a working dump truck, especially considering the Marauder engine. Sure, it's not going to win any beauty contests, the seller's honest about the rough body, but for someone needing a reliable work truck with some serious muscle under the hood, this could be a great value. 13. We're checking out a sweet 1960 Ford F100 that's listed for $14,000, though the description mentions $15,000 OBO. And let me tell you, this appears to be one honest classic truck. What we've got here is a clean example of Ford's iconic F100 powered by the bulletproof inline-six engine paired with a 3-speed manual transmission mounted on the column, a classic setup that's known for reliability. What's really appealing about this truck is that it's being sold as a turnkey vehicle, not a project. The seller emphasizes it, starts right up, runs smooth, and is a true daily driver. The odometer shows 46,544 miles, and while that could be 146,544, the overall description suggests this truck has been well maintained. The truck retains its original body and emblems, which is becoming increasingly rare for these classics. Yes, there are some minor nicks and a ding on the tailgate, but that's honest wear for a 63-year-old vehicle. The interior features that beautiful original patina with a refreshed bench seat, and all the roll and vent windows are working. Even the horn is loud and proud. Some key upgrades have been done where it matters. Newer tires and redone electrical work, which addresses two of the most common issues with classics of this era. It's still wearing those classic Ford hubcaps, maintaining that authentic vintage look. At $14,000, $15,000, you're looking at a fair price for a driver-quality F100 that doesn't need immediate work. These trucks have been steadily appreciating, and finding one that's ready to drive and enjoy immediately is becoming increasingly rare. 14. We're checking out something really unique. A 1963 Ford Falcon Ranchero, listed at $7,700, and this one's got a story to tell. Being a rust-free Nevada car is already a huge plus, and this little beauty combines classic car style with pickup utility in the best possible way. Under the hood, you've got the reliable 200 cubic inch straight six, paired with a 3-on-the-tree manual transmission, a combination that's becoming increasingly rare to find. What's really impressive is the amount of recent mechanical work that's been done. New carburetor, a top-end refresh with hardened valve seats, fresh gaskets and seals, new tires, and a smart upgrade from generator to alternator. They've also tackled basic maintenance with new plugs, wires, cap, rotor, coolant hoses, and muffler. Now, let's be honest about what it needs. The seller's refreshingly upfront about the remaining work. The clutch pivot bushings need replacement, which they say will be done. It needs a turn signal relay, heater box work, and a headliner. The paint has some issues, but here's the key point. The body and chassis are straight and rust-free, which is far more important than perfect paint on a classic like this. At $7,700, you're looking at a fair price for a running, driving piece of Ford history that combines the practicality of a pickup with the driving dynamics of a Falcon. All the chrome is present, it has its original glass and steering wheel, and it's got that unmistakable vintage style that turns heads. 15. We're looking at a 1966 Ford F100 that's listed for $5,000. And let's be real about what we've got here. The seller's being honest by listing it in fair condition and stating it needs a little love. I appreciate that kind of straightforward description. What makes this truck interesting is its powertrain. It's running a 390 V8 paired with a C6 automatic transmission, which is a robust combination known for reliability and torque. The 390 was one of Ford's better big block engines of the era, and the C6 is practically bulletproof when maintained. With 90,000 miles showing on the odometer, though on a truck this age it could have rolled over, there's likely plenty of life left in this powertrain. The truck's wearing black paint, and while the seller's description is pretty brief, they do confirm it runs and drives, which is always a good starting point for any classic vehicle project. At $5,000, you're looking at an entry-level price point for a classic F100, especially one with a running 390/C6 combo. Now, given the fair condition rating and the comment about needing a little love, potential buyers should expect to find some issues that need addressing. These old Fords typically need attention in areas like floor pans, cab corners, and bed floors, so you'll want to check those areas carefully. 16. We're looking at something pretty special, a 1976 Chevy 1-ton dually, and this isn't your average pickup. Listed at $10,000 OBO, this crew cab workhorse has some interesting features that make it worth talking about, even with its fair condition rating. Let's start with the power plant. You're getting the mighty 454 big block V8 paired with a turbo 400 transmission. And here's where it gets interesting. It's got a gear vendor's overdrive unit installed. That's a smart upgrade that helps make these big block trucks more livable on the highway. The Dana 60 rear end with 4.11 gears is basically bulletproof, perfect for heavy hauling. The seller lists 61,940 original miles, though the listing also shows 99,104. Might want to clarify that. And interestingly, it comes with all 4 original brass keys. That's a nice touch of authenticity. It's equipped for serious work with both a 5th wheel and a Class 5 hitch. Plus, it's got dual fuel tanks for extended range. Now, while it's listed in fair condition, this is a pretty rare beast. Crew cab dualies from this era aren't exactly common, especially with the 454 Turbo 400 combo. The blue paint might not be perfect, but these trucks were built to work, not win beauty contests. At $10,000 with room to negotiate, you're looking at a lot of capability. These crew cab dualies are becoming increasingly desirable, especially with the big block/gear vendors combo. The tires are reportedly in good condition, which is a significant expense on a dually that you won't have to worry about immediately. 17. We're checking out a really interesting 1982 Chevy K30. And let me tell you, this is one honest truck listing. Listed at $5,000 OBO, we're looking at a 1-ton 4x4 dually with some cool features and an interesting history. Originally a diesel truck, it's now running a 350 V8 gas engine, which is paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. That's a robust combination for a work truck. The 10-foot flatbed adds serious utility, and being a K30 means you've got 4WD capability when you need it. The odometer shows 89,065 miles, but as the seller honestly admits, it's likely rolled over at least once. What I really appreciate about this listing is the seller's transparency. They're upfront about everything, the typical old truck stuff as they call it. You're looking at some rust on one fender, aging weather stripping, a cracked windshield, and some non-working lights. They even mention the sweet patina on the hood, which is a nice way of saying it's got some character. On the positive side, it's got a fresh battery, recent oil change, and decent tires, which on a dually can be a significant expense. The seller's been using it as a daily driver and light work truck, which suggests it's mechanically sound enough for regular use. At $5,000 OBO, you're looking at a fair price for a working 1-ton 4x4 dually, especially one with a clean title. These K30S are known for their durability, and the gas 350 swap might actually be preferable to the original diesel for many buyers. 18. We're taking a closer look at a 1970 Chevy C10 that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. This short bed conversion is a real head-turner, and the seller is asking $19,500 for it. Let's dive into the details and see what makes this classic pickup so special. First off, the seller claims that the condition of this C10 is excellent, and based on the extensive list of upgrades and the photos provided, I'm inclined to believe them. The truck has been well maintained and has participated in numerous car shows, including Hot August Nights in Reno, the Good Guys Show, and the C10 Gathering in Turlock. It's always a good sign when a classic vehicle is regularly driven and shown off at events like these. Under the hood, you'll find an 8-cylinder engine, which is paired with an automatic transmission. The odometer reads 61,000 miles, but the seller mentions that it has rolled over, so the actual mileage is likely higher. Still, the truck is said to start right up every time and runs cool with good oil pressure, which is a testament to its well-maintained condition. Now let's talk about those upgrades. The list is extensive and includes new tires, disc brakes, which the seller claims make an amazing difference, polyurethane finished bedwood, polished stainless steel bed strips, and new stainless hardware. The paint from the cab forward is also new, as are the bedsides, bed front, carpet, taillights, reverse lights, and marker lights. These updates not only improve the truck's appearance, but also its functionality and safety. 19. We've got a real workhorse for you, a 1981 Chevrolet C20 that's ready to tackle any job you throw its way. This square body beauty is up for grabs on Craigslist, and the seller is asking just $7,900 for it. Let's take a closer look at what makes this C20 a standout. First and foremost, the seller describes the condition of this truck as excellent, and based on the information provided, I'm inclined to agree. The C20 has undergone a fresh, complete paint job in white, giving it a clean and professional appearance. The body is free of rust, which is a major plus for any vintage vehicle. One of the most impressive features of this truck is the Skaug service body. For those unfamiliar, Skaug is known for producing high-quality, durable service bodies, and they offer excellent parts, service, and repair support just an hour away from the truck's location. The service body features diamond plate on the opening top boxes, bedsides, and tailgate, adding both style and functionality. All locks are reported to work well, ensuring the security of your tools and equipment. Under the hood, you'll find a reliable big block engine that's been rebuilt, paired with a rebuilt transmission. This combination should provide plenty of power and dependability for your work needs. The C20 also boasts power steering, power brakes, an automatic transmission, intermittent wipers, and a good heater, making it a comfortable and easy-to-drive work truck. 20. We've got a real gem for you, a 1957 Ford F100 that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. This short bed, big back window beauty is currently available on Craigslist for just $11,900. Let's dive in and see what makes this vintage pickup so special. Under the hood, you'll find a 223 straight-six engine, which is known for its reliability and durability. The seller has made some nice upgrades, including a Clifford manifold and a 2-barrel carburetor, which should help improve performance. The split header with dual glass packs gives this F100 a throaty exhaust note that's sure to put a smile on your face. The truck runs and drives well according to the seller, and it's equipped with a manual transmission, allowing for a more engaging driving experience. The new tires and wheels not only look great, but also ensure a smooth and safe ride. Moving on to the exterior, the seller mentions that the paint could benefit from a good waxing to really make it shine. The glass is in great condition all around, and the grille and front bumper are both described as nice. It's important to note that there is a little rust present under the steps, but the seller assures potential buyers that it doesn't affect anything structurally. There's also some rust on the very bottom rocker of the passenger door, but it's not terrible according to the description. Inside, you'll find a nice interior that appears to be in good condition based on the seller's description. The short bed and big back window configuration is a desirable feature among F100 enthusiasts, as it provides a more spacious and open feel to the cabin.